What is up, femboy and Spooderman army people of this absolute nation? It is I, the leader of this army thing. I don't know, this is just too cringe. Yeah, I'm Kira, and today we got a comparison video for you, okay? So I actually haven't seen one of these videos before for this type of thing, so I think I'm among the first. I don't know. But today, I just want to compare some things with Faceshells here for Spooderman cosplay. Good stuff. Epic 42069. Blaze it. But before we get into this video, just make sure you're subscribed if you like this kind of stuff. And just like if you like Spider-Man cosplay content and just whatever else I make, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you like this video. And, yeah, let's just go into it. Let's go! So today, I'm mostly going to be comparing these two Spider-Man Faceshells here, okay? They're both Far From Home Faceshells. This is from Peter Parker Industries, and this is from TJack. So basically, the main comparison I'm going to be doing, because these are both excellent Faceshells, and this is all up to preference, honestly, is I'm just going to be comparing, like, the types of Faceshells. So basically, there are two like big types of Faceshells you can get. You can either get 3D printed like the Peter Parker Industries one, or you can get one that's Vacuformed like the TJack ones. And there are some pretty big pros and cons between each, which honestly, again, they're both great Faceshells with great quality materials. You can't go wrong with either. It's just up to personal preference. So I'm going to compare like the materials used between these two. And so basically 3D printing, all that is basically get a 3D printer or someone 3D prints it using plastic. And basically it just takes a few hours to do, as in sometimes like a day, depending on the quality you're going for in the printer. And you get this nice hard rigid face shell as your end result. And these things are very well constructed. Like if you get a good one, which a lot of them are really good, like especially this one. They are constructed very well. They're very durable, as you can see. I'm just gonna bend that. Like, look at that. Look at that. It's very strong and rigid. It's not gonna snap or break on you. It's constructed very, very well. And if you can see in there, like, there's a lot of rough edges there. That's basically what the rough product would usually look like with 3D printing. So basically, in order to get rid of that, all you gotta do is just like sand it down and just paint over it. But I'm an absolute idiot when it comes to this stuff. So I didn't even like really bother the inside because again, that's where my face is gonna be. Who cares, okay? Just put some foam in there, get comfortable, okay? Just deal with it. And the outside was a bit harder for me because I had to sand it down perfectly, make sure like it wouldn't rip up the mask and anything, which honestly, all you do is for sanding is just take some sandpaper, slap it on there, and just go rub-a-dub-dub all over the thing, and then you just feel it. Okay, it's smooth, and I'm done, okay? That's all you gotta do. And then you just gotta paint over it if you decide to. It's not really necessary, but it's just to make it look good and just give off that quality here, like I did here, even though, like, I'm not very good at painting. That's just me personally. And another great thing is that if you have trouble breathing or whatever in one of these are very strong, so you can drill a bunch of holes like I did here, and it's not going to affect the rigidity of the face shell or whatever. Just make sure whenever you do that, you just sand it down, just because it's going to create sharp edges from wherever you drill. So yeah, that's not good, okay? But with a Vacuform face shell like this one, is very flexible, as you can see here, but it's also very, very strong too. So whenever you flex it like this, you're not going to risk breaking it like at all. So basically the process of vacuum forming, I actually learned some of this from watching some of I forget his name. I'll have like his name like somewhere here, like rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. But he has like a bunch of archived live streams where one of them he was actually making Vacuform TASM 1 face shells. And so basically what you do is you take this Vacuform plastic, you heat this up, and then you take it to like a buck or something, which is basically just like a head shape. And then you just put it on there and you use vacuum suction to actually pull the flat plastic sheet that's been heated around it to create that perfect shape. you cut it off, and then you pop it off, and then you got a Vacuform face shell. Now this process just allows it to be very consistent with batches and all that. It's a completely different process compared to 3D printing, but as the end result, you get a nice consistent result here with good batches. Unless you count like the cutting around there, because usually I have to cut around it to free it from the buck, but that's another thing. Yeah, you just get this really nice and rigid face shell, and the texture of the plastic is nice because it grips onto the fabric of the mask. That way it's less of a risk of it moving around on you. So that's another big plus of these. And so basically, yeah, and you're also able to drill holes in there without risking breaking it at all as well, which that's also great. And it's a lot thinner too than the 3D printed shells, because if you look at the thickness here, like just compared, like look how thick just look how thick that edge is compared to how thin that edge is. That's like, it's hard to like really get the focus, but you can definitely see this is like almost like paper thin. Meanwhile, this is like a 1/16 of an inch or something thick. Well, I'm probably exaggerating a lot, but all I can say is that this is a bit thicker. So that's also a thing with these. These are going to be thicker, so there's more of a chance of those face shell lines showing, which that's another thing. So basically, whenever you have Vacuform shell, they're usually like one size fits all, right? In order to get different size Vacuform face shells, you have to make an entirely new mold for a buck. And so that's a lot more work to do. But with a 3D printed face shell, which another big plus of these, okay, if you have a 3D printer or you know someone who's a 3D printer, you can make one of these yourself. You could just grab a file online. There's tons of files you can choose from. Just grab a file and print it yourself, honestly. And so with 3D printing a face shell, you can actually manipulate the files a bit to get it to your head shape, which can take a bit of trial and error, but you'll eventually get there. Now this wasn't done because Peter Parker Industries doesn't really do that, I think. So he just like, it's just a one size fits all type deal. So this is a bit bigger on my head than the other one, which is the whole reason why I got the other one. So if you get like one of these 3D printed face shells from somebody, just be aware that that they might also like not be able to change the head shape for it. So that I'd just be aware of that if you're buying a 3D printed face shell. And if you want one, I recommend, if you have a 3D printer or know someone with one, just get the file yourself and mess with the dimensions so that way you can just get it to your head shape. And when it comes to cost wise, I can't say for all of them, but these two were pretty similar in price. For a fully assembled one of these, for the Peter Parker one, it would be like $180 or something like that. I paid $80 I think for the kit here, and same price with the TJack. With the TJack shells, $80 for a kit so you can assemble it. And the kit with this just comes with the already Vacuform face shell as one piece, so you'd have to drill the holes yourself, paint the lenses and all that good stuff. And for the kit for this, you would just get an unfinished face shell, which it would already be the printed face shell, but you'd have to smooth it, paint it, whatever. And this one already had holes already like pre-made into it, but they're just too small, honestly. But that's a nitpick, I guess. Again, you can make your own holes in this thing. But yeah, they're both great options. And depending on what you want to go for, like what type of material you like and like whatever, and like what your use case is, then either one is a great option. Like if you want something a little more flexible that might be able to fit your head shape better, you go for like a Vacuform one like this TJack. But if you want something more rigid and durable and just like more heavy duty, then you go for a 3D printed one. Like honestly, they're both great. And it would be a crime if I didn't show you what they looked like on camera with a mask on, so I'll just do that right now for you. Alright, so here's the TJack face shell in all its glory. As you can see, it looks pretty good from the front, but what we're worried about here is what it looks like from the sides. Now, as you can see, if I push against it, you can see how that plastic is flexing. Now that can be very helpful when your head is a little bit smaller, because it can help conform to your face shape. Now I'm not going to say it's going to help all the way and make it like completely visible with the face shell line, but I mean it helps a little bit, because if you look at the sides here, you can see that there's a bit there. It's not terrible. You can still see my ear shape and everything, but it's still definitely there because I have about like a 22-inch circumference head, but my head is pretty skinny in this area. So yeah, I'm just gonna have face shell problems with that in general, unless I get like a custom formed face shell. But if you want one of those, you're gonna have to find like someone who's really good at that stuff, and it's gonna be very, very expensive. So if you want face shell, and most face shells are a bit like, it's a bit weird in that area, you're either gonna have to make one yourself or have someone else do it. That's just kind of how it is. But if you're satisfied with like a bit showing, then I mean, that's okay, because if you look from the front here, you can't even tell. Like, my head looks like a normal shape. It doesn't look giant, okay? And you can't really tell, like, the difference in the face shell size back here when you look at the front. And this is where you're going to mostly see it anyway, so this is, like, the most important part, and it looks fantastic. Now, let's just go right to my old favorite, the Peter Parker Industries face shell. Well, pow! Oh god, camera angles, I gotta slouch. Just don't mind my posture here, because I don't feel like fixing my camera right now, because it was about to fall. I had to lean up again, so whatever. So here you got my Peter Parker's Industry face shell. Now personally, before I talk about like the important stuff here, I do like these lenses a little bit better. I mean, compared to the movie, I think they're just the right size and everything's like perfect with the lenses. Yeah, you can definitely see compared to the TJack face shell, that this face shell is definitely a lot bigger. Like, it definitely like is way more prominent on this side, especially like right here. Now let's just get a look at the other side here real quick. So yeah, you can definitely tell this face shell is definitely a bit bigger than that one, because let's just say you have a 22-inch circumference head like me, and you have a skinny head like me. This is about what it's going to look like on you. Again, that's just like a face shell problem, but as you can see, like, if you have about the same head size as me, you can definitely see the Vacuform face shell from TJack. That does fit a lot better because it's able to bend a bit. So that's great. But again, this is a fantastic face shell. You can see clearly out of this. You can see clearly out of the other one too. You got very accurate lenses, very accurate face shape on this side. And again, like, it's hard to kind of tell. Like, that doesn't really fit you properly when you look at the front. It's, again, all in the sides and the back of the head that you can really see it. But yeah, this does definitely make my head look a bit bigger, and it doesn't have that flexibility to really, like, curve to, like, help my face shape. So that, again, that's like what I was talking about with the rigidity of this. Like, yeah, it's great, and it's not going to fall apart on you, and it's going to last you forever. But it's not going to really like flatter your head shape unless you just have a perfect head shape to fit this. That's pretty much just a look at both of the face shells of what they look like under a mask. And yeah, these are pretty much the same mask too. It's just this one has a zipper because, again, this is a bit bigger of a face shell. So the zipper definitely helps on the back of a mask. If you got a bigger face shell, like a big head and whatever, whenever you get a Spider-Man suit and a detachable mask, get a mask zipper, man. Like, it just makes life a billion times easier. But yeah, let's just wrap up this comparison here. Alright, now just to wrap up my thoughts here. So basically, like I said before, again, I gotta reiterate this because I'm not like bashing one over another. They're both fantastic face shells, and I recommend both of them. It's just, honestly, it's just up to like whatever you're looking for, and like what your head size is, and like what your capabilities are, and all that good stuff, and what your preferences are. So if you want something that can bend a little bit more to your face shape, I'd go for a Vacuform face shell. I'll link TJack down in the description. He makes a ton of them. He's like one of the bigger ones in that kind of category. And I'll also link Peter Parker Industries as well for a 3D printed face shell, because those are also great and have their own like great properties to them. So if you want a kit or a fully assembled version of that, you can contact him. Oh yeah, I also have the Portuguese down below as well, because he assembles TJack's face shells. And if you want to assemble the face shell instead of a kit, you would contact him. And I'm just going to throw in one more bonus thing here. So here we have my face shell that I have from Print Costumes. This is like 88 bucks, and you can only buy this when you're buying a suit. So basically, it's like a casted plastic like. So basically, what I believe, I'm not 100% sure on this, so don't take my word for it, that this is just like one of those things where like they pour plastic into a mold and you get this. Now, again, these this is also really good quality, really rigid. But these also come in one size, and these are one size fit all. So basically, if it's basically meant for a tall and skinny head, and my tall is not tall enough for this, nor is it skinny enough. I mean, actually, yeah, never mind. My head is not tall enough for this, but it's also like my head's too skinny. So depending on your height, skinny is subjective, so I'm just going by how it looks. So yeah, this is another option if you're not looking for a movie accurate face shell or anything like that. You just want a basic Spider-Man face shell. These are completely fine. They're great quality. You can't really go wrong with these if you're not looking for movie accurate. And these are great face shell options, like honestly. And if you go to Herostein, they also have face shells. They're a bit cheaper. They're a bit cheaper quality, but they also have a cheaper price, so you basically get what you pay for. Yeah, just don't get RPC Studio face shell. It's a waste of money. You might as well just buy some craft foam and make one yourself, because it's just a lot cheaper that way. And what I will always recommend, first of all, if you're crafty enough to do it, make a Spider-Man face shell of your own. If you're able to, just do it. You're saving yourself a ton of money doing that, and also you have like a piece of work that you can be proud of. And there's plenty of stencils that you can get online and stuff like that you can find, where you can just print those out, mess with it to get it to your head size, cut it out, and then like do whatever after that. Like, if you're crafty, just do it, honestly. But if you're not crafty like me, those are free options, are most common. I believe 3D printed is a more common one. So yeah, those are just all your options here. And there are probably more options out there that aren't as prevalent as them. Those are just like the most popular ones out there. So if there's other options out there, just let me know in the comments and tell them. And if you've had experience with them, tell me how they are, how good the quality is, and just how good face shapes are. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this comparison video. I hope you guys found that informative and helped you make your decision about your next Spider-Man shell or first Spider-Man shell purchase. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications and all that good stuff. Hit the like button if you like this video. I got more videos like this. I got review videos on Spider-Man suits, other cosplay, and just other random videos that I just enjoy making. I really enjoy making this stuff, so it means a lot to me that you guys really like this. So yeah, with all that being said, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Watch my old videos until then. And yeah, have fun and slay that ass. Goodbye. Yeet.